Hey everyone, Sarah here at Three Little Potters. Today I am doing a glaze review for you. And this glaze is Coyote's Magenta Sky, and it's part of their Archie's baseline. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what it does. I have been hesitant to buy this glaze just because of the price. It is, gosh, is this the most expensive glaze I've ever bought? It might be. This was $25. And so I have been hesitant, but I really wanted to try it. I actually saw a video where somebody, not a video, but I saw an image where somebody was using a different glaze with this base, the parakeet yellow. And I also have that one in order too. So I'm going to do a review of both of these. Parakeet maybe whenever it arrives. But right now, let's see. So I don't know if you can see this. It's like definitely separated. Okay. It's uh, it's like there's water on top and the rest is just so this is a problem I've seen with other Coyote glazes, at least with the fantasy sample set that I reviewed, is all of the glazes needed some attention before I could work with them. So I'm going to go transfer this to another container and hit it with my immersion blender before we even start this video. Just so you can see, I've dumped the water off the top, and we can see like in the center here, there's a section that's gone completely dried out, and then the rest of it is just clumped around it. Let's see if I can. It's like what a mess. I don't know, whatever Mako and Amico and Spectrum are doing to keep their glazes in solution, Coyote needs to figure that out. Because I do not like having to prep my glazes before I can use them. Like if I'm saving money on a glaze and I'm mixing it myself and it's a little bit harder to apply, like I can almost take the hit. But I paid, what, this was double the cost of Pearl White. I mean, sorry, not Pearl White, Micro Pearl. And I like that glaze a lot better. All right. Okay, the review is already off to a rocky start because that was more work than I anticipated doing to start here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one dish with it just by itself, plain dish. I'm going to do one dish of it by itself with a flux along the edge to see what that does. I'm going to do one with it over black, which is similar to obsidian. It's a night glaze that I call. And then over white. And then I'm going to do a couple with it by itself with velvet blue, is it velvet blue? Royal blue underglaze. So we'll see what that does. Okay, coat one. On one of these dishes with it by itself, I'm probably going to do 2 coats, and on the other one I'll do 3 coats to see if it's a glaze that's affected by thickness a lot. I'm going to assume that from the way the glaze behaved that there's probably not a lot of filler in this formula. So it probably has pretty good coverage with just 2 coats. But this is not a glaze that I've worked with before, and it's not a glaze that I have any idea about. I haven't seen a huge amount of pictures online of this glaze either, so I don't have a lot to go by. So that's it over white. This glaze has some sort of micro crystal variation to it. So I'm wondering if by putting it over another glaze, if I'll interrupt that and maybe we'll just get some of the color, but not any of those crystals. Okay, so this is our underglaze that I want to try. So this is my second coat on the middle, and then I'll hit this edge. So I'm going to leave this one right here. This is going to be our control. So this is just Magenta Sky by itself, 2 coats. Okay. And this is our other one that is just Magenta Sky. And I'm going to go ahead and put 3 coats in the middle here. Let that dry a little bit. It already looks like it has a heavy application. Maybe. And this is it over white. I'm going to leave this one as it is with just 1 single coat over white. This one is also over white, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a double coat. There's a little bit of Mako pink on the inside of this, just high fire pink. So that might give us an idea, this edge, as to how it's going to overlap with other Mako glazes. This has a base dip of variegated Dove Gray. I'm going to try it as on like the rim of that. Let's give it an idea of how it plays well with others. And this is my one that I want to do 3 coats on. I'm just going to do the 3 coats inside in case it is a runner. And if you have the time to wait, it's definitely better if you can let the glaze sit for a little longer in between coats than I am. But I have a kiln to fill. Okay, and the one over black, I'm going to go ahead and give that a second coat because that black can gobble up the color sometimes. Okay, that one's good to go in the kiln. This has 1 coat. I think I will go back and hit a little more on that underglaze as well. And for the dirty snow on the rim of this one, I'm just going to do a very slight edge. I have no real idea about the expansion of this glaze or if that'll cause a crackle or anything like that. Okay, and there's the final coat going on here. As you can see, I'm sort of layering down a little bit, keeping my multiple layers close to the top and then sort of trailing off. So 3 coats, 2 coats, 1 coat. That looks pretty good to me. We will see what happens. This one, some blue on my fingers. It's not quite dry enough, but I'm going to hit it anyway. And this is coat number 2, and we're going to leave it right there. All right. So I am going to fire these tonight to cone 6, and we will see what we get in the morning. The Magenta Sky tests are out of the kiln and they did not disappoint. I almost wish they had, because then I wouldn't have to worry about mixing that glaze. But look at how incredible this glaze is. It's just really nice. Yeah. This is it by itself. It's definitely got some beautiful crystals, a little bit satin by itself, and a little more glossy over studio white. But I really think it's a pretty sort of pinkish purple, but kind of duller. It's not quite the level of spectrum fluorescent, but it's definitely a pretty color. Let's jump over to the photo stand and look at these a little closer. So here we have the Magenta Sky by itself, and you can see that it's definitely going a little bit more satin and more crystals where it pools thick. This would be one coat here and then two coats. So thickness, you definitely want to go for those two coats. Here we have Magenta Sky over my Night Glaze, which would be similar to Obsidian. And you can see here that it's definitely, the color is only really where it's thick. So it was here as well, but it ran down, and really you're only seeing that pink in the center. Here, this is over Night as well, but I'm using some Dirty Snow as a modifier with the Magenta Sky. And this is that royal blue underglaze here with Magenta Sky here. And that was 3 brushed coats. I'm not sure if I did that last coat off camera, but it was 3 brushed coats. It also seemed to play well with some of my mixed glazes. This is it over June Purple. I'm not sure what this speck is. I think it might just be a little teeny bit of kiln dust or brick. It was over my variegated Dove Gray. I really lost most of the pinkish color. You can see little remnants of it here, which I think is interesting, but maybe not worth doing. And this is my favorite. I just like the sort of random design that happened in the center. That's always sort of my favorite part of glazing, when it's just, I don't know, the surprise when something happens that you couldn't control but is also beautiful. Both of these are Magenta Sky over white. Here I think was 2 coats more so than this 1 coat in this zone here. This cup definitely needed another coat here. It looks very much like only 1 coat. A little bit of bubbling right there too, so this is definitely a refire, and possibly it doesn't love being over an underglaze. It's overnight, it's very hard to see that color. Most of it's getting kind of eaten up by the dark black glaze, but it does have that nice sort of pink border edge where the glazes meet. And again, just using Dirty Snow as a modifier over it, really just love that combination. And on the side, less so. Really needs a bowl to allow that glaze to sort of pool together and create different colors. So what do you guys think? Is Magenta Sky worth the money? Is it something you would consider adding to your own glaze collection? I definitely think the results are pretty unique, so I am happy that I purchased it. Definitely make sure you're doing 2 coats at least. This one's a little thin, but once you're up to that 3 coats, you're getting some really interesting crystals. So yeah, I'm not disappointed that I bought it. I wish it wasn't requiring so much effort to keep it in suspension, but I definitely love the glaze. So thanks for watching.